welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another episode of 905 and 808. I am your host, Stamina, and I'm pleased and I'm really excited to have Nicole Jaskot in the podcast today. So, Nicole, tell me a little bit about yourself. How'd you came into the music game, and what do you do actually in there?
So, about me, I'm 20 years old, from Toronto, or Markham, Vaughan. Grew up in Markham, I'm in Vaughan now, but so basically based out of GTA. I've been singing my entire life. My life's always kind of revolved around music. I started taking lessons when I was, I want to say six or seven, between 6 and 8. I also played the piano from really, really young. I finished all the RCM levels of piano, and the same thing for voice and theory and all that stuff. I've kind of always just always had singing in my life, and it was always one of the biggest parts of my life. It's kept me grounded, sane, it's my passion. It's what I really, really believe that I live for. I love it. And I think I don't know, I don't see myself doing anything else, pursuing anything else, right? So my head right now is just completely focused on that and going in that direction. So yeah, was that your whole question?
Yeah, no, that's really good actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Good intro for sure. And I listened to some of your projects. Actually, I saw that you had one single and a couple features with different artists.
Yeah, so I have 2 singles and 2 features now.
Yeah. So I guess, are you saying that in 2020 or the years coming on, you'll have a little bit more in your catalog, maybe an album?
Yeah, a dream. I've been writing a lot this year mostly. I think the last few years I've kind of when I started putting out music originals, it was a year or 2 ago I started, 3 years ago maybe. No, 2 years ago I started putting out music, and in that year I put out 2 singles, and before I completely just dove right into that, I didn't really take the time to figure out what my sound was or what I wanted it to be, and how I wanted to present myself as an artist, and how I wanted to sound, and I kind of just did something, put it out before even really thinking about the direction that I want to go in, musically, artistically, right? So the last year and a half maybe has just been completely revolved around trying my best to figure out what that is, and a lot of the times it's been on my own, so that is kind of a struggle, right? Where you're not really when I'm not working with other people, I'm kind of limited to what I know only, right?
That's right.
So even more recently I've been trying my best to expand collaborations and who I'm working with and who I'm writing with and producers and stuff, right? So it's just a bit of a battle, trying to really zone in on that before I put anything out or finish anything. Oh my God, I have so many things unfinished, right? Because I just want to have a solid bunch of songs that really represent me before I go forward with releasing or anything. So I'm just doing collabs in the meantime, features and stuff. But yeah.
And where do you usually go for your features? Do you collab in person, or do you go to the studio near you, or do you have a setup yourself at home? Or
features, collaborations, or the producers I work with?
In general, let's say an artist comes to you and says oh, Nicole, can you come by? I have a verse for you. I have something written down for you. Usually, do you just record? Do you have a setup here at home? So usually,
with the stuff I've done in the past, stuff like that, it's been a collaborative effort. We would either write together, or I would write my part to it. So for example, I have 2 features right now. One of them is Honest, with my friend Luke Chino, incredible artist, producer, and person also too. I know him from high school, so we know each other already, right? So we just decided to work together, and we're also we're working on more stuff already because it was just so fun. So what we did was he had the track, and we went through a whole bunch of tracks together, but we finally picked that one, and then I kind of took it home, and I have a studio set up, kind of mic, piano. I'm looking at it, so I keep looking over here. Whatever, just the basic things, right? So I'll write here most of the time, which is what I'm trying to get out of now. Like I usually just write here and then bring it back, and then we work on it like in person together. Or like there's that one other time, it was like the hip hop song that I was on with a couple guys that I knew, just creatives that I know from Mississauga. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was a little shaky, but I got a little bit of like what you said.
Okay.
But,
okay.
I got you at the part where you said Mississauga.
Okay,
like,
yeah, okay. So I thought, I was like, oh my god, where did I pause? I was like, I said so much. No, so I was a part of this like artist showcase kind of thing that some of the guys that I knew from Mississauga put on, and I met a bunch of people there. So those artists reached out to me, some of them, because they did a song together, and then they had my part like done already. They had their vision for what they wanted me to do. I went to the studio for a few hours and it was done. So like it was a smaller part, but like it happens differently every time. Depends on the people, depends on the project, depends on like our vision, what we want, whose song it is. I have a collaboration right now that's coming soon with a guy that I know from school. Okay. Incredible R&B singer, artist. And we kind of just did the whole thing over FaceTime, because he basically wrote his part and got the track, wrote his part, and then sent it to me, and then I just wrote like my part, and we put it together like from our mics in our own homes. We're gonna go record it soon. Oh, nice. Yeah, so it happens differently every time. Yeah. And let's go back a little bit before, like I remember you told me like you like being an artist, like you got to find yourself, you got to really know yourself. Yeah. Did it help having like a really good like circle around you, like either family or friends? Like how did you figure out like what you really want? Like how did you get into the process into that? Yeah, it's still a process, honestly. A lot of it comes with like I think just like knowing what I like to hear, to listen to, what I like to sing, the stuff that I feel the most, because I noticed that I was kind of veering off in like different directions, and that wasn't me. I definitely have like a solid base and foundation around me, like my family, biggest supporters, best friends, honestly. I love them. I would choose to hang out with them all the time. Family over everything. Family over everything, yeah. Yeah, for sure. I'm a huge family person. They've really kept me, I think, confident and strong. And then my best friends, I have like a small, good circle of really good friends who've just really, like, I think each of them have a different part of me. You know what I mean? Like each of them make up a different part of me. Oh, that's great. That's good. So like I think the people in my life, definitely, it's a great question, have like shaped me into like who I am as a person and as an artist. It's a huge influence on that as well. Like I think honestly though, the last year and a bit, I've just grown as a person. I think that has to happen like first before you really know like what your sound is, and I'm gonna evolve just like every other artist, right? But I think like I need to have a good general like foundation behind me and my name, you know what I mean? So, and like my sound. So I think it just comes with growth and confidence and just knowing what you like and having a good support system. You're right. Yeah. But yeah, it's still a process for me. No, that's good. Honestly, like you need to grow, especially in the music industry, like where there's people that are hungry out there, and like the game is evolving all the time. So you really you can't do it on your own. Like you said, like it's really tough to just like push it yourself, like write everything. Like I try to do that like a couple of times, because sometimes you're like I don't want to wait for people or blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you do need people. Like it's impossible for music. Like even if you're an introvert. When you said that, I've been waiting for so many people, like for the past, like I started recording when I was 16, so it's been 4 or 5 years now. And since then, like I've just kind of, at this point, I'm done like waiting on people. Like I have so many, like it's just producers especially that like I will work with, and then it's like I wait on them to get track done, or like I wait on I don't produce, right? I vocally produce, like I produce vocals, but like production wise, I don't think like that. So like I find myself depending on a lot of other creatives and people that I'm working with, right? So I understand that completely. Yeah, we have to be self-sufficient sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You're right.
And like what kind of genres are like you looking into like towards like your new music, or are you like going more into like the root core of like Toronto where it's like mainly underground rap and like R&B based, or do you feel like you could be on an EDM track or something more
to be
melodic?
honest, I think like collaboration wise, like feature wise, I'll do anything because I just love music and singing.
Interesting.
Right? Like for me and like my own music, it's not really the hardcore R&B, like hip hop R&B vibe that's going on right now, like the urban sound, right? It's more, I think I'm just kind of like gearing towards it's hard to fit it into like one genre, like you can. That's, I don't want to be fit into like one genre. Like I don't want to be classified as like one like type. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think my genre is going to be like a bunch of multiple like elements from many different genres. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be pop, R&B, soul, alternative, a little in there.
Okay.
It's kind of hard to explain. I think it's just I think it's just a sound. I don't think it's a genre.
Okay, so as long as like you stay in the topic and like you work with the right people, then you're okay.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And like
for sure, I don't want to go too far away from that.
And what kind of like topics do you talk about mainly in your songs? Like, what do you want to like give like to like someone who wants to listen to you, like get to know like who's like, Nicole?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm ever gonna make it, I want to use my platform for good. You know what I mean?
Hey, like you'll make it. Don't worry about that.
my music for good. You know, I think music is so special, and like I think it really brings people so as close as many other things could, like to their being. You know what I mean? Away from their thoughts, like their self and their feelings, their emotions, and you know, like just I think it makes people grounded, and I think it makes people feel alive. And I think what I want to do, ultimate goal, is just make as many people as I can feel alive and like feel something, relate in any kind of way. Like that's what I love about music, is that you can kind of take it any way you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of what the meaning actually is, like you can interpret any song any way that you want, depending on like how you're feeling and the things you've been through, right? So I think my ultimate goal through any topic would just be to help people that's feeling confident and badass, or if that's feeling like sad, and sometimes you just need to listen to a sad song to get over something, right? Honestly, I feel like I write the most and the best when I'm sad myself, and I always write sad shit. I think I'm like, I need to stop doing that.
Yeah. Hey, no, that's good. As long as you're
Pardon?
I was saying, as long as you're productive, like it's okay to write about like
exactly. Recently, I've been writing about like just more things in life, like my family,
like relationships, like stuff like that.
Yeah, relationships is like the main. Obviously, it's the easiest thing for me to write about, and I've been trying to veer away from that. Write about like just like certain feelings in life that you get. You know what I mean? And talk about that and like pick that apart, you know what I mean? Or like my family, or stories of others, you know, just anything, really, anything.
So like right now, as we know, like there's just a lot of things going on, like either in the city, in the States, like pretty much around the world. Do you feel like you're gonna like try to like use that energy, or try to use something in that way to like talk about like what's going on, like for the topics, kind of like show support, or
like sing something in a way, or write something in a way, or just talk about it?
Yeah, kind of like how like artists would like write music to heal to make people heal in that sense, because
like I
that's
haven't. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing when people do that, and like I think it's a great way for people to feel and to help people like get through things like this. Like it's really crazy how the things that are happening are still happening, like in our day and age, you know what I mean? Like I'm the type of person that's just, I'm all love, you know what I mean? Like it's not even a thought in my head that I don't understand how people can still be as racist as they are, you know what I mean? Like what is going on in your head? Like we are all human beings, that's it. We are beings. There's nothing more to it. Like why not love one another? It's the highest energy, it's the purest form of anything that we can feel, you know what I mean? Like I just think, you know what, I should write something. I should write something about it, because that's what I feel about it, you know, and it's heartbreaking in a way to hear about the things going on. I haven't yet, because I think I'm just like wrapping my head around everything that's like going on. Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
And like it's hard to even share. Like I know how I feel and how I think about these things, but like it's hard to even share about it, because like it's such I don't know, social media is crazy, you know. People can take what you say anyway, you know, and it's kind of it's terrifying sometimes.
100%.
So I mean, I share the strongest things that I think. The things that I've shared really are like on my Instagram or whatever about this whole thing, are the things that spoke to me the most, which one was one of my favorite artists. They were singing, you know, Lennon and Stella.
No.
Incredible singer. It was her and her sister singing a Bob Dylan song about racism, and it was like so beautiful, and I was like, that spoke to me the most about like how I feel. And so I shared that, and then I shared that young black boy singing. I don't know if you saw that video. No,
I haven't seen, but send me that next time.
I'll send it to you. It's incredible. And like I think those things, like oddly enough, through music spoke to me in a clearer way, you know what I mean? Like, and it was easier for me to share because it was like more of like the feeling, right? Just of love, that I think was more powerful for me to speak on. But I definitely should write something, because clearly I have a lot of feelings about it. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, like 2020 has been like one hell of a rough start.
No.
Like we honestly gotta make the best out of it. Like you gotta stay like strong. You gotta stay like positive. Like you said, like the fact that you're all love, and like you try to bring that energy in your life and around people around you, that's really good. That's amazing. Which is also something that I find myself in the city, like it doesn't happen all the time. I'm not sure if you feel that, but
I think with every aspect of life, people should just do everything they do with intentions of just good and love, you know what I mean? We were born that way. It's a natural thing for humans to love everything and everyone. So I don't know why it's an issue, you know?
Yeah, it comes from so much. There's so many factors that affects like what we know and like what we believe in, right?
I know. Yeah, and I mean, this is a deeper issue, like system-wise, you know? It's
systematic, yes.
So it's a lot to fight, and I think people just need to stay strong. You're right.
And like I as a minority, like myself, like we can do so much, right? But the real power is like within like those institutions. Like, the majority, like the people who have that power, they are the ones that hopefully should change after like what's going on, because or else like we're gonna keep this fight and it's never gonna end.
It has to be changed from the roots, from the seeds, you know?
Exactly, from the roots, pretty much.
Yeah, and like those big systems that run the world, like those should already be fair and right, and you know, like it's fucked up.
This should be there for the people, like They were supposed to be made for the people, but they're not really there for the people.
No, I mean,
so this is where it's all wrong.
In a lot of ways, like not just this, but like so many ways that a lot of people don't see, and it's like, can't we just like help each other out, you know?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And honestly, like that brings me like to the topic of how like artists, so like how there's a lot of competition too in the music game, right? How I'm not sure like if you ever had the experience of having like someone or like working with people that are not really at your best interest.
Like skill wise, or
not necessarily skill wise, but their intentions are like kind of shady. They're not trying to make you like level up and grow in that sense.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like so many, honestly, at this point. Like I've just learned so much being as young as I was and being female in the industry. It's like people just like to just walk all the fuck over you, and like they don't care. First experience I ever had was a producer that has a bigger name in the industry. He's very established, which is like, oh my god, he should do a good job, right? Because like, he's established. He's got a name. People know him. Of course, he was a little more expensive. First mistake, I've learned to not pay hourly rates for everything because they will abuse that. Secondly, like whenever you can't, I know some people that's how they work, and that's fine as long as it's reasonable, right? But this guy just, first song I ever recorded, okay? Like I'm young, completely stupid. I don't know who to trust, you know? First project ever, something that I wrote in my room, and he was like, this is the one that we're gonna produce together. So we did. He had a rapper on the track. I'm blessed that I met the rapper that I met through him, right? But he gave me, my producer gave me just a piece of shit project.
Wow. Like
I'm done, like this is basically it, and I paid him all this money. And it's like, you expect good work from people that are established, and I got just a piece of shit. Like it was just bad. It was not good, and I had to have it redone because, and then it's like another grand, you know what I mean, to like have it redone well. And but yeah, so that was my first kind of experience where I was like, whoa, like you really can't trust everyone. That's like, the people just want money, you know, people are greedy, especially people that have made it at least a little bit farther than you have. Yeah, I've learned a lot. That wasn't the only experience. Like people have done that to me a lot now. So I'm just careful. I still trust because it's in my nature to trust people and have like good faith in humanity. But I definitely have had people that are only in it for the money and like know that they can take advantage of me. So I'm just a little bit stronger now. I think I'm just a little bit more aware and tougher from all of those experiences. But yeah, the first one was definitely the worst.
Yeah, honestly, like sometimes you think like if someone's established, if someone has worked so much with other people, like their name, and like you
like, wouldn't you want to keep a good name for yourself?
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't want to like dirty up your reputation. Like that's not.
I mean, I won't name names, but like, it's not. It wasn't right, I think, in my opinion. But.
Yeah. Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's okay. I learned lots.
Yeah, no, that's good because you have to learn like from situation like this, because or else like they're gonna keep coming and like you're just gonna be like always screwed up, right? Like
I learned so much about like law, not through this
the music law,
even, like,
right?
So much to know, and like you're gonna learn so much more through experience than you would through a textbook, you know? So like
100%.
These people that I was working with, it's like, okay, I write the song with him, he's the producer or whatever, and then he's like, okay, I'm gonna like just finish it, right? Like mix it, whatever, all that stuff. Comes back and he changed like a whole part. He's like, it's my song too. And I'm like, I'm paying you up front for your work. You will get a cut, like a producer's cut, right? He's asking for like huge amount, and he changes half the song.
Wow.
Just so that his tag meant something to him, you know what I mean? So it was like more like his, and it was like, whoa, like how much do you want? Like, what do you want? What do you want from me?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not good.
Wow.
Yeah, and like didn't even tell me masters it. It's like, what?
Mm.
You didn't even tell me.
Sorry to hear that. Jeez.
That's fine. It's fine. I've learned so much. I'm grateful, honestly. Yeah. It's a great question.
Yeah. So in terms of your new release, new projects, are you thinking of making videos as well, or trying to add like some different art within like your music art? Like, I'm not sure if you want to do like a music video or like something else.
With my new
like,
music?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, once I have new music, I will definitely think about. I have some good friends that are like really, really good at videography or whatever. Super, super talented. My one friend, he's travels now. I don't even know where he is right now. He's just all over the world. He's gone everywhere, but he's super, super talented, and he has such good ideas. And like, I think once I have something solid, that's who I'll go to. Like, I already know who I'll go to help me like put together like my visions or whatever for my music, make sure visually it matches what like the whole vibe that I'm going for. It's definitely a lot to think about with like cover art. He did my last cover art for my song Broken Love. He did that, and like the whole promo video for it he did. But yeah, so like I think I just need to I need to put a lot of thought into that before, like, after I have something solid to work with. Like, I'll need to put the thought into it with like how I want to, like, everything visual to go, like,
yeah,
like by the title, cover art, promo videos, music video, like all of that. Lyric video has to all tie in together with the same kind of, it's just a lot to think about.
Yeah.
Especially I don't even have any music right now, but like, yeah, it's a lot to put together for sure. But I know for sure that like I'll have as much as I can to be able to show all of my visions musically and visually.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, that's good. And then also, like, you don't want to stress too much on the tiny details. I would say like focus more on having like the content like solid, and like the tiny details, you know, it's good to be perfectionist, because like we as musicians, we're always very perfectionist. And
oh my god, I'm the biggest fucking perfectionist.
Like, we love to like excel and make like our vision like always clear and the best. But at the end of the day, like, the real judge is the people, unfortunately. Like, we'll be satisfied or maybe less satisfied like for more work, but at the end of the day, like, the music you release, if you want to be like a really successful like producer, artist, or whatever, like, at the end of the day, it's the people. Like, you have to like connect with people. So if it's a good idea and maybe there's a tiny little error, like, they wouldn't care less.
I think, honestly, I know that most musicians are perfectionists, like you say, like myself, especially vocally. My god, I'm psychotic. But I do believe that like if we work like true to ourselves as musicians, producers, artists, singers, rappers, everything, if we are true to ourselves and like we like really deep down to the core, like we are who we are, and like we're unapologetically who we are, I think if you have that belief in yourself and your music that represents you, who you are, and that will be enough to carry it, and people will recognize that and relate to that, you know what I mean? And I think that's what makes artists so special, people that have made it. I think that's a huge thing. Like, I always think of Pink Sweats. You know Pink Sweats? Whenever I think of this kind of stuff. Great artist, beautiful person, and he was just really just himself. He did everything himself. He was himself, and he made it because of that. Like, because he was who he was. And I think we just need to stick to who we are. You know? And like, yeah, maybe there's like things you aren't satisfied with, but like if it's raw, you know, and like true, I think people will, automatically feel that. They might not recognize it, but that's what they're going to connect to, you know? So I think that's just what everybody needs to do if they're in this industry.
No, that's good. Like,
You know?
you definitely have like the right like mindset and like the right approach to go into it. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, you want to really show like your art, and you want to be like 100% like believing in it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But then
It's so
since
important.
since you're doing straight out of passion, like there's nothing else. Like eventually, like the money will come. Eventually, like
You gotta think that way. You just
recognition
need
will
to
come,
believe in yourself.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Things will come once you really like get to know yourself, and like you know your true passion and your values.
I honestly think
That's
like
it.
you just have to build yourself to be ready
Mm-hmm.
for it, you know?
Yeah.
It'll come when you're ready.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah. And Nicole, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about? Like any shout outs like before like I end this podcast?
Shout outs. Well, first, anything else I want to talk about?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so you're a producer yourself, right?
Yes.
You
Mainly co-produce. Yeah.
You do what?
I mainly co-produce with another producer in Toronto. I can produce myself, but it's just gonna take longer. I'm better just putting the ideas and the sounds together, like the sound design part.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. And the arrangement, the composition. But there's people
what kind
that
of artists do you work with?
Who? Sorry?
What kind of artists do you work with, and why?
Oh, wow. We switched the podcast around. All right. Okay. Now it's not just about Nicole. Okay, so
I can't have that. I felt funny the whole time. I was like, this needs to go the other way at some point.
All right. Well, I actually worked. So my first project, New Beginnings. There's 10 tracks. There's one producer from Toronto that produced one track. Most of the tracks actually on the album is from a guy in Germany, and he produced for a lot of like big artists actually. So what I did is, because I didn't know any producers around me, or I was new in the game of producing, what I was doing, I was just listening to really good beats, good quality beats, and I was just like, you know what, like I could write something about it, like I could connect with it. And so I bought the exclusives from this producer, like all the way from Germany. And there's this other guy from Ukraine that I bought his beats from. They were cheap and they were really good quality. So like, it's kind of crazy like how I started off my like first album.
So cool, all around the world.
Around the world. Like I was just like constantly like searching like sounds that I like, that I could like resonate to.
Yeah.
And so that how it all started, like in terms of like production wise. But now, since like I released that first project, I got in touch with my main man Cashflow. He's a really good, talented producer and artist. He's from Toronto, so I started with him the past year, just going like almost every weekend in his studio, like either practicing, like composing with him, producing, or like bringing new ideas. Like we were consistent, like every Sunday.
That's
boom,
fun.
boom, boom, always a catch. Like there was no stopping for us.
I love that.
Until Corona, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was sad. I was really sad because of that, because like we were almost done the entire album, the second album that was gonna release. But
album, like whose album?
Oh, and also, yeah, I forgot to mention, like most of the stuff that was produced on the album was hip hop, and also there was two electronic rap kind of tracks.
Oh, cool.
And I thought, and myself, I'm a real like big passionate about electronic music. I really like electronic music. I actually grew up with EDM before rap in general. And actually, funny story is, metal was my very first genre that I listened to when I was younger. Just crazy.
Interesting.
Like I love, like, honestly, like if you listen to metal, like there's some really, really deep lyrics. Like,
oh, I know that. I think it's so cool.
the lyrics are crazy. Like there's some artists that are amazing. Like
I should really listen to more. Just because it's interesting, you know, just to see
yeah.
that. You know, you don't expect it. And then you really listen and you're like, whoa, no, I've heard some stuff like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool.
And then yeah, like Cash just mainly does hip hop and R&B in terms of production. But I'm trying to collaborate more like EDM producers and like other ones. They're really hard to reach. And honestly, I think like having a track remix from you would be kind of cool too. Like having like producers will be down to just like, oh, you know what? I like Stamina or Nicole's track. I'm gonna remix it, and maybe we're gonna make like a banger out of that. So then you win and they win, right?
Yeah, that's
a good strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's really smart when artists do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just kind of everyone benefits off of something that's already like done successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So who are the albums, like who are the artists on the albums that you're working on?
So there's only like 2 artists actually. But you know what? I might include more artists because I didn't really think of the other tracks as yet. Like I know the topics that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But once the music comes in.
So you write it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you write?
I do write. I write my lyrics. Like all my lyrics are written. I do write some music in some way, like the composition part, but not the very technical where there's heavy music theory. I leave that to someone who has like a little bit more like, you know, like knowledge or more experience into it, because it can get really complicated. Good chord progressions and also like melody good.
So much to know. Think about. It's kind of intimidating.
It definitely is.
It is.
Definitely is.
It still is for me. Like there's so much that I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, like there's so much. Like during this quarantine, I've been learning a lot about mixing, mixing the tracks. I mean, it's not something that I'm gonna do, but I feel like knowledge of mixing in general can help your track like levitate so much closer to the vision or like the sound that you want to have.
Yeah, makes a huge difference.
And also like the producers itself, when you work with them, and the engineers actually, when you work with them, they'll actually know exactly what you're talking about. So like you have their lingo, you know, and it's easier to really really talk with them and get the sound and like the music you want.
Yeah, it's important to know. I mean, I don't know too much about mixing, to be honest. I've tried my best to learn. Vocally, I think like I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Like it's my favorite. Vocal production is my favorite thing in the world. I love the whole, like if I could vocal produce everything that I do, like I would. That's I think the thing that I'm best at. When it comes to mixing my vocals.
Yeah.
Can use some work, but I don't really need to do that myself.
Yeah, no. Honestly, like the mixing part, like it will take way too long for you to be like, if you think about it, like you want to be efficient in your art. Like you don't want to like always be like stuck because you're trying to learn all of this when there's someone like right beside you that's probably like
that's why I never take the time, because it's so frustrating to learn. There's so much to know that I can't. I will just do what I do. Someone else.
That's why there's so many like people in the game like that, you know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people to work with.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Fun fact, one of the next few episodes, I'm gonna have a sound engineer come in. I'm trying to get like a couple different perspectives and views.
I'm certainly gonna watch that. I would love to hear. Honestly, I love meeting other creatives that love what I love, you know, and like listening to what they have to say. And yeah, I love because I just want to expand, you know, like I just want to know more. Yeah.
That's what's up, honestly.
Cool, I'm excited for that. Anyways.
Yes. Do you have any shout outs actually? That was the last thing we were gonna talk about.
Shout outs.
Like anyone who like made you like who you were, or like
My family.
Nominations.
Shout out to my family.
Okay, good.
For just being my anchor, my rock.
Yeah.
And my best friends, they know who they are.
All right.
But yeah, that's it. Just I like to say always to anybody that's listening to me, just be true to yourself, follow your heart, follow your passion, do what you love, fuck everything else. And be kind. Be kind. Be you and be kind.
Yes.
And that's all I gotta say.
Well, honestly, like, it was a pleasure. It was an honor to have you like here.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I'm so excited to be just talking about this kind of stuff. I love it. I love doing this. And it's super nice to meet you virtually.
Yes.
So thank you.
Yes.
Honor's mine.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to like the new projects, and I'm gonna link all Nicole's social media link below. If she has like any other like release like notes, definitely will. And yeah, like, thank you so much for listening to another episode of 905 and 808. Again, I'm your host, Stamina. And again, thank you so much for Nicole to come here. We talked about some really good topics and discussions. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Thanks for listening.
All right. Bye. Take care, guys.
Okay.